put a square in my face. I don't know what that means. Why is that there? Okay, now it's gone. Is it playing? Where'd it be? Yeah, it's rolling. Yeah, yeah. I have such terrible eyes, but right now with this little window cracked here, it would just be nothing but reflection. I'm just sitting here in the quiet, and a week ago, probably was when I last did a video, and it was the last time I smoked, because I had a bad cough, a bad chest from playing with that. The thing is about smoking is that once I start, I don't want to stop until I exhaust myself. So I have to be real careful. So I've gone now pretty much a good week now with no smoking until just now. My weakness, you know. So this morning, I'm like, oh, fuck it. I'm bent about the weather. I'm bent about the loss of all the plants outside. This most recent experience with my legs and being in bed for 2 days, direct, fully 2 days, one after the other, and then still trying to get up from that environment back to my normalcy. So I've been using a TENS unit. If you've, a TENS unit is it does electrical charges in the muscles to cause them to respond so that you're actually exercising the muscle without actually going through the physical nature of the exercise. It can help with pain and it can certainly help with atrophy of the muscle itself, because you're charging up the muscle, you're tensing it up and you're releasing it, tensing. And so I've been doing 30-minute sessions on each thigh and on my legs and to get me back to normal. And I seem to be back getting there. I took a walk yesterday to the grocery store, and that's a little bit of a walk down the street, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But sadly, I had to cancel my appointments for both the CT and the MRI scan that we were going to do of the thoracic and the cervical portion of the spine. And what occurred, not being able to walk and not being able to get up there to the hospital to do that, I canceled. And then not having my shoulder pain, I said, and it all went to my hips. I said, that's it. I can explain it to the doctor later after that. But it occurred to me that it could have a urinary tract infection. That's what's affecting my gut and my, my pelvis. And urinating is very painful, or had become very painful. So I told Jeff to let me do it as a walk-in on Thursday to my PCP to give them some urine, and then get that tested right away. So I did. I walked into the family health practice and told them I'm a walk-in and that I need to have my urine tested for a UTI. And she totally dismissed me and said, I'm sorry, but we can't fit you until late this afternoon. And blah, 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 blah. And we're not going to do anything without a doctor's orders. I'm so sick of hearing that you can't do anything without a doctor's orders. So you're telling me to call the doctor? Are you telling me to call the doctor? I told her that's ridiculous. I said, I'll just go talk to my oncologist. Because obviously they're acting like they don't have a doctor on staff. So are you saying that you don't have a doctor on staff? And well, you can't take a walk-in first thing in the morning and there's no one in the building right now at 8 o'clock. None of your patients have showed up yet. That you can't take care of this? So I took my little bag and my urine because I'd already put my urine in a jar because I couldn't hold it. But it turns out they won't accept it now because it could be someone else's urine. Right. So anyways, I'll give you more urine. Anyways, I walked over to the oncologist Thursday morning and told them I'm sorry, but family health just told me they can't help. And I wanted to give them urine, and it's in the bag, but they won't take it, and you guys probably can't handle it either. Is Dr. Gomez here? Because I think I have a UTI. So she said, no, no, no. We'll give you a new container. You give us some urine. Dr. Gomez will sign the order, and we'll call you on the phone. Okay, cool. So we took care of that. And I did. I was able to go again. And I felt bad because then I put it all on the doctor, who shouldn't have to be thrown around like that because he's an oncologist. He's not my urologist. And he's certainly not my PCP. I mean, he doesn't want me to have an infection any more than anybody else does. But the fact is that my PCP should know that I would be prone to infection and that if there's anybody who needs to have something done right away, it's going to be someone in my condition. Because you don't want to just wait on that sort of thing if there's an infection. And obviously, I was going through days of pain, only to get to that Thursday to finally try to find an answer, but then no one calls. So I guess it was a clean slate. And now I'm feeling better. So what was that? What the hell was that just ran through my whole body? And now my shoulder started acting up again. But on Friday, I had an appointment with orthopedic. So ortho looked at the shoulder and the x-ray, and they could not see any injury that the person at the PCP office was trying to indicate they saw. So the PCP end of it, they are trying to indicate that I have an injury. Well, the orthopedic doesn't do anything for you unless you do have an injury. But and so since they wrote it on there, he could act on it. He said, I can act on it. That means we can do something for you. So we talked about the left shoulder having received cortisone, and it had done wonders. It's been a year. That why not just stick some cortisone on this side, see if it can diffuse whatever's going on. What's it going to do? It doesn't affect me. I mean, as far as it doesn't bother me, cortisone works for me, and maybe it'll work. And they said, cool, let's do that. And it's a minimal risk of infection and maybe just a little bit of bleeding or bruising if I'm prone to that. And sure enough, no blood. And I took it well, although I feel a little stiff, I feel a little full. And I did go through an episode last night of pain that I diffused with ice. So still no medication for that, other than I get tired of the pain. And then, the gummies only work so well because you have to time them out. If you want to feel better, you better give yourself an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes to where you're finally relaxed. Well, that's a long time. Where the little bowl is an instant and it's in your system. But it's the coughing business and it's the lungs and it's my condition that I have to be real careful with, right? Right. I guess. I guess. So that was my week. And I really consider the whole month of August as being, and it's power and control, and it has to do with the sacrifice. That because it's a sacrifice of time that makes the good manager. It's the managerial number. It's a sacrifice of your own life if you're a politician, right? It's a sacrifice. You're sacrificing your life for the betterment of all other lives. Isn't that right? Right. Well, the 8 month has been a kicker for me. It's been one of pain as that sacrifice is. It's like the death of the self that wants to go through that crossing. But yeah, it's been a very disruptive month for me. Yeah, yeah, especially if you were to see outside. I think so. So during those times that I couldn't get out of bed and I couldn't water 2 or 3 days, and I finally step out there, and it's just being zapped, and it hit the lemon. I showed you that it did killed the lemon. Then it killed the orange tree, and it's just started jumping through the yard, and I just stopped. just stopped. He said, just let it happen. Let the trees go into a summer dormancy. Let the ground dry up and crack and pray for rain. And so I did. That's what I've been doing. And every day, everything's dying and dying and dying. And I'm not touching it. It's as if I'm not here. And I realized that the last place I need to be out is in that sun and in the heat index that's been so fun, right? Whatever, this summer of business. And instead, I try to stay cool and keep my cool and walk through this pain, this frustration, this body that's it's affecting me a little neurologically through my nerve system, through my legs, through my back, through my arms, through my neck, through my head. And it doesn't want to sit in one spot. No, it's moving around. So I'm not going to complain anymore. So to you guys, I might. People who listen in, I might, like I'm doing now. But to the doctor, no. I owe him an apology. I'm sorry. If it's not a UTI, I'm glad it's not. I'm glad it's not. Um, if it shows that I'm clear in the urine, that's a good thing. It's a positive thing. I'm glad we know. I was going through a panic mode with the way I was feeling and not understanding where it's coming from. I don't trust my PCP. I cannot trust the family health. They have access to everything that's going on from one end to the other of the spectrum, and they're acting like they don't know who I am as an individual and that I'm just a walk-in. No, I'm a patient. And no, I don't get to see my PCP because she's got other patients, but that's why you have other doctors and it's all tied together and you're a group. So get it together. If there's a star next to my name that says I'm immune compromised, then get it together and know why. And know why the importance of such things. We can't do nothing without a doctor. I don't ever want to hear that again. Ever. I've heard that enough from nurses as an excuse because they don't want to call the doctor. They don't want to interrupt the flow. There's a gentleman out here that wants to get his urine done right away. Well, who is he? Well, he's a cancer patient. Get him in here now. Damn it. Janet. Thinking of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Anyways, I owe my doctor an apology now for interrupting his flow, which with patients that are probably more serious than I am. I shouldn't complain, right? But yet I know what's happening inside of me is speaking in ways that I can only tell you. It seems to me that by December, there's going to be a great burden lifted. So, so maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just projecting, right? Well, that's how it works. I want freedom from all of this. I've been crying for it. And so God says, here, I'll give you an answer. The Spirit steps in, gives me a way out. Didn't quite work out the way I thought I was going to get out, but it's still going to end. So I want to clear all these drawers and I want to clear all the crap that I've accumulated. Stop all the gardening, shut it down, put it away, and get ready. And I told Jeff I need to skid out here because there's a lot to throw away. Now, is he going to do anything? No, he won't do anything. So it was very frustrating. That's why I wanted to rant about that. He's my caretaker, caregiver. He's agreed to be the caregiver of this situation, which gives him rights over me in the fact that I give him those rights. And so as a result, he needs to be there when I need him. Well, one of the things that I needed him to do while I was in the hospital was to water my plants. And he did so well about it because he felt really bad, So I come home and I find all my plants watered, but the house has never been touched. And so for weeks, my house is sitting here in filth, and he expects me to come out of the hospital to the filthiest fucking house. And I realized at that point, because I had been sick for some time, that I had failed at keeping things up, except for watering. So the garden was beautiful. The house was like fucking crap. I mean, filthy. So I had a fit. Jeff cleaned the house. I kept up with the watering. He never touched it again. And then he watched me wither away and fall into bed where I couldn't get out. I can't even walk across the floor. Did he offer me dinner? No, I had to get up and fix dinner every day. Did he offer me help? No, he didn't even. I saw him standing out there crunching the leaves off the branches instead of turning on the hose. So I gave up. The rock wall took out my chilies. The tomatoes are gone. I don't even know if I got cantaloupe. I haven't even been over there. The weeds are so high. So I gave up on it. So the whole joy thing, keeping the joy alive with the flowers and the garden and stuff, I can't be up there anymore. Not like that. I can't be standing out there while I'm in pain. No, it's not going to work. And I like moments when I'm like now, where I'm more lucid and that I'm not in as much pain as I usually am. I like that. But at what cost? Well, here you go. Or I could dump some of the gloomies down and wait for a good feeling. Either or. Doesn't make any difference. So today, today's the number 8 day, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is as the number 26. So there's 26 makes an 8. So today is really a Lion's, that great Lion's Gate, the third of the three that occurred this month on 888, because, the year is an 8. And then on 817 would be the next one. And then, of course, 824. And I'm sorry, 26, 826. So that's an 888. So we're at an 888 uh, situation, which it holds a different set of keys. As the normal Lion's Gate is the 2 8s, which holds the 4 as a diamond. In order to see that there is another combination, in order to to knock on the door, to recognize that it's there between two passages of time, like a parallel situation. Yeah, or like binary star system, or like even the differences between our right and our left, or that which is above to that which is below, that there is a door placed. But in this situation, it's 3 8s. There's 3 times 2 doors. Yeah, yeah. So it's 2 doors. Could be like a tutor. Could be as a house would have 2 windows. But it's 2 doors. There's a door to get in, and there's a door to get out. Or there's a present and a past, or a present and a future. It depends on the time in the middle. That's the present. That's close to you. It's happening. But there are 2 doors that you can open, and that's one of the past and one of the future. So that's the greatest Lion's Gate that you have. That's today. Now, ultimately, that 8 combines with the 7. Yeah, it's a 8 8, creating the 7, and then the 7 onto the 8. But it's an 888. Yeah, so it's a 24. It's a man. See the 2 4s? It's hidden. So there's these 2 doors are meant for man. They're meant for man. And it's 3 times this month that it came available to us to open, to open. to what's available to us, to knock on a door and to ask for assistance or help, to go in and sup with that person, to receive. So it's a good day to receive. It is. It's a good day to receive. And yeah, I should hope. I should hope that it's a measurement of time and power. Yeah, and power and empowering. Yeah. So I did receive a phone call today. I wonder about that sort of thing. I have a phone and it never rings. It never sings. Well, I don't really. The only ones that have my phone number are people I'm conducting business with right now for appointments and medical and things like that. Well, one of the things that I've been trying to do is to get on SSI because it'll help me cover over-the-counter medications, these things that I need, and possibly food, so that I can start supplying things that I think my body really, really needs versus what he really, really wants. And even if it's SNAP food benefits, I could still utilize the cheese and the milk and the products that I use every day in my recipes. So they called me, SSA, and they just wanted to let me know that I'm approved. I said, "You said I was denied," and I had to file appeal. Well, now we've gotten through the appeal process. So I explained it to her again. She asked me questions, and I explained to her, and they're still wondering if this is some kind of great relationship going on here. And I said, well, for one thing, he's never, ever filed me as a dependent, ever. And we never believed in that sort of gay marriage sort of thing. And so we've always had friendship as our basis. And I don't pay rent, ever. And I don't pay utilities, ever. I said, I can't even tell you what they are. I wouldn't know. Don't hold bills. I don't drive. And so she needs a letter from him stating that this is the condition. But of course, because he's my caregiver, he has chosen that position. I have signed him as a release. I've given him a release form to fill out. And it's in my medical records that he's my caregiver. He's the decision maker. He's the one that's going to make the decision for my end of life care. And when I said that to the woman, she says, I'm sorry, is this terminal? And I said, yes, that's what this is. It's small cell carcinoma. And we're not going to go through radiation. And I've already completed chemo, so I already know that's happening. So we discussed it a little bit, and she was very, very nice. She took it well. She took it well. And so I'm approved. I am. And it's retroactive, so from the date I called for the first time, which is what I was asking for, because that's when I was asking for it. And then I told her that I only opened the bank account for you guys. It wasn't for anything else, no other reason. I don't hold bills. So I don't have any reason to bank other than to receive this that I could then supply some help, which is totally necessary. So she was nice. So I contacted Jeff, and he took her fax number and her name, and he's sending the letter to her right now. And at the first of the month of every month, there's a little cha-ching that should happen in the account. And I assume that since we're still within August, and I have been approved probably she's been trying to reach me for over a week. She keeps calling Jeff, and Jeff keeps telling me that she keeps calling. And Jeff keeps giving her my phone number. And for some reason or another, I'm not either near the phone when it rings, or it's a malfunction. But today it rang. And yeah, so that's good. And then I also can look into, yeah, some burial practices. Yeah, like indigent burial, because I don't believe in cremation. No, they cremated my grandparents. They cremated my parents. They can cremate themselves. I'm not going to go through that. No. Ashes go into ashes, go into God. The fire, anything that goes into the fire is consumed by God Almighty. Well, you ain't ready to face it. And if he puts you in his mouth as fire, as that, as that burnt offering, and if he puts you in his mouth, then you become him. And anything you were never was. Yeah. Are you prepared for that? Well, Elijah would teach you these things. Those are the false prophets of a false fire and that of a true fire that even lapped up the water. So I'm serious. Dust unto dust. That's everlasting life. Dust unto dust. Ashes to ashes is everlasting contempt. It's the tares who should go into the fire. And if I am a tare and I went into the fire, I expect to walk right out because I don't want that. I'm not asking for that. I put it in my medical records that I don't believe in cremation. No cremation. I don't believe in it. It's not part of my belief system. No. And I'd rather not be pumped up full of chemical to put in the ground as some kind of preservative. That's ridiculous. I'd rather just have a natural burial. Or for them not to ever find the body at all. Why would anybody need to? Just let the earth take it back. If the animals eat me, then I become the animal. If the earth eats me, I become the earth. I become part of the soul body. I become part of the living body, the greater body still, the soul body. I become part of the earth, part of the generations, the genitalia of the soul body, rather than the fire. The fire cometh to cleanse all of the earth. You know it's going to happen in the end. Supernova, of course, where nothing ever walks through. No, except for the spirit. And it'll all be in consumption. As mankind is that fattening calf. Certainly, we should rejoice over that we would be included into the kingdom. But all upon judgment, isn't it? It's all upon judgments. And the Lord, he judges us righteously, and he forgives us of our sin. And we seek that forgiveness. We repent, we return unto the hand. We return unto the hand, we discover what's in our own hand. What have you done? And then discover which hand we are, what hand we are in. What has he done? Well, I don't come from a one-handed God. No, I don't. I don't believe in such a thing. If you're created in his image, then you just simply need to see God for yourself. Why would you want him to consume you? Don't be ridiculous. So, hallelujah. All glory, all praises unto the Almighty. That today is a good day to receive. So today was a good day to receive it as a number 6, of course. Um, it has to do with um, expansion outwardly. Yeah, this is good. This is a good thing. Family nurturing. And it has much to do with the heart, of course, as the 6 is the man. So it's what's in the heart of a man. Yeah. So I was prompted today by Spirit to look upon the Flood brothers over there at Nessa's Cafe again. Not for any particular reason, but I think what hit me was that I was thinking that by now that John Flood would have had a child, would have had children, married and children, because he's kind of that catchy kind of guy, seeking that kind of love. And so I looked into it, and it turns out that, his mother had passed away, their mother, and she had the Mercado, the market, the market downtown, which is a business supplying different antiques, collectibles, and things like that. And I think they have a little cafe. And then, of course, there's Nessa's Cafe. And I was there volunteering as a friend because my best friend had just passed away. And so I was hanging out with them all. And I was seeking marijuana as a relief for my symptoms at the time. It was 2017, 2018. And it's not only my depression of losing my friend, but the physical aspect, the pain that I was experiencing that I'm understanding now was a very serious thing coming upon me. Just took time, and then it did rush on me when it did. So I had always been a complainer of certain ailments that no one seems to identify, and I was self-medicating. So I would hang out at Nessa's and volunteer, and my payment would be a butt or two to go home with to ease my pain. That's all I needed. And I could still work. I was kind of hustle and bustle at the time. And it was nice to get my endurance back and to believe in brotherly love again. But it all went to shit when John Flood decided to call me out as a whore, to claim that I'm trying to replace Jeffrey as a sexual partner, and threw me out. It was ridiculous. It was sad. It was humiliating. He did this in front of everybody. And the story was always that James and Nessa took care of an old person until the end of his life, and he left them in his will, and that's how they were able to open their business. That's a lie. So they lied, and they've been lying to everyone because the investor is actually John. So while I was washing dishes, it turns out the boss was actually John. And every time he gave me shit and I went to James, James would lie to me and say, "Oh, I fired him. Please come in." Only to have John standing there pissed off that I'm there. So I was being played. So Beverly passed away, their mother, and she had a business. And so now I see an article's written about how this business was opened by John, and he's had it since 2018. And he's so proud of himself for having this business plus managing Nessa's. Well, I just read right through that. So you're all a bunch of liars. Because I know about your head injury, and I know about what took place at NMSU, and your lawsuit, and your big, big bucks. And it doesn't matter because I'm not a gold digger, and I wasn't looking for money. I never asked you for fucking money. But you should kick me out as a whore. So I wasn't selling you anything. I wasn't selling myself either. You were. And selling yourself to the public as this great entrepreneur, which you are not, as all those things that are collectibles, was a part of your mother. It was her market. And Nessa's is Nessa. And so two witnesses unto God, two witnesses, James and John Flood, that I had to meet, that I had to realize is nothing more than an antichrist in his own right, as he sells trinkets of crosses and memorabilia of nothing but that's Catholicism through the culture. Yeah, I can see this stuff in the store. So I'm sure it's a very pretty penny. I'm not jealous. I'm just confused. Why do people lie? Well, the devil is a thief and a liar and a murderer from the beginning. And to accuse someone of prostitution, to accuse someone to be the whore when they weren't. My intentions were always open. They were always true. I felt that there was another business to go through to get to you, John. Yeah, I figured that you were going to start a grow business, something enterprising that I could help and be a part of. But no, no. And so from there, I ended up taking the street drugs that knocked out my teeth. Do you remember? My teeth fell out? Yeah, because it's laced with fentanyl. It's laced with all kinds of crap. So the danger came, came right into my life. And as a result, I had to panic. And I did. And I applied for SSI and I applied for all these things so that I can get my teeth fixed, so I can get health care because I didn't have any needs. And like Jeff would go, oh, well, your teeth will just fall out, the pain will go away. Well, no, I'm in agony. And so each step of the way, I had to do something in my own panicking way. And each time they presented themselves with their COVID bullshit and their, oh, you must be high anxiety. You must be very high anxiety. Have you ever suffered from anxiety? Yeah, as if I'm the crazy one because I have symptoms and you don't have doctors. I remember all that crap. I remember everything you tried to pull on the American public. And now what? Dr. Fauci has the West Nile. Well, I hope he really does because I've had that before and it hurts. Lock your neck up and you'll never move again. Like a hanged man. Oh, well. It's okay. I don't have any ill feelings towards John. I'm sure he just loves telling his little stories and everybody can read right through them. Anybody that knows him and that family tree, because I know how they were involved in harming the man who owned Picacho Peak. And, Picacho means peak, so it's Peak Peak. So Picacho Peak is Peak Peak, and we know how that land was stolen. So cursed be to you and the flood, two witnesses unto God. What did you take witness of when you're nothing but a liar? Yeah, bless you for paying you for the rest of your family's lives. And it was probably instigated by the younger brother, or actually the older brother. Which one's younger? Can't tell anymore. Who knows? I get that way. It's the pouring forth of the memories as the synapses goes off. But it does have a lot to do with the type of readings I received that day. Inspiration to look back or look into something that I would be inspired by the Tarot or the Torah, as I say it, which is guidance to look at upon it. Something was missing at that time. Something was placed at that time. Something that was overlooked at that time, which allows me to then say, oh, well, then that makes perfect sense. Why someone would treat someone so poorly. Why someone would just uh, spit on another human being when the person doing it claims to be trained in an ashram, as if you have some holy peace up your ass, and you don't. So you harmed another person to prove your own God. Okay? If that's what it takes, be my guest. Ashes unto ashes, dust unto dust. I should hope you didn't cremate your mother. People don't understand. They have no relationship. Why would you do that? Why would you want God to consume you on a dinner plate on a pavement? Here, we have a burnt offering. That's terrible. And you never give a thought about it. Why? Well, because you're conditioned by the program. This is their way. This is society's way. No, it's an option. You can either go with the ashes or go with the dust. And it's the serpent that eats its own tail, eats the dust of the earth over and over and over again. Well, that's the twisted Ouroboros as the eight. And so it's recycling your life over and over and over again. Why? So that you may learn these things, so you may grow spiritually, so that you may soon be the child receiving to have crushed the head of the serpent and bruised the heel. You're given that opportunity. But they say, no, you don't want to recycle anymore. You want to rise up in your 7D and your 6D and your 5D and your. Well, no, those dimensions are not available to you without the flesh because you'd have to be consumed in order to become part of them. And so you do through ashes. When you should be throwing those ashes on your head and putting on sackcloth. Yeah. Why do you have those ashes on your head? To pray for those people that are dead, that you have taken their opportunity for redemption away from them. Redemption is for the dead who are in the grave, who are but asleep in the grave. And if you think those ashes are asleep in the grave, you're so fooled by it. You have to think clearly. So you can say, oh, that's so Saturnalia. I don't know what you're talking about. And you have no idea what you're talking about. But Mark Passio says, once a Satanist, always a Satanist. And those keys were switched on you. You think Satan was ever going to give you power? Ever? Well, he has now, hasn't he? Just as he promised. Truly. Do you think I don't know these things? Well, as the son of, I made an agreement that if you kill my father, then you can have my soul. Well, he couldn't do it, could he? No, he wasn't going to sacrifice himself for my soul. Of course not. Don't be ridiculous. So as the son of perdition spoken of, told you, so that scripture might be fulfilled. It's only so that the dragon can't get over on me. He can't. No. If he did, he'd have to admit who I was. And he's not doing that. He's not. He doesn't believe in it. He doesn't believe in peace. No, peace means to be isolated. Peace means to be alone. Peace is the darkness. Peace is when you don't hear a thing, you don't see a thing, you don't feel a thing. No, that's peace. Rest in peace. Yeah. And so I am the son of peace, as I am the son of perdition. And perdition is everlasting. And so it's either in contempt or it's in life. That's right. And so I choose life. I choose life. I'm gonna walk through the crossing. I'm gonna pass that moment of all pain, knowing that both death and hell are overcome. Death is pain. Yeah. Rather than be cremated forever and ever and ever. Amen. How ridiculous. Choices we make are false. And the belief system we carry is false. And our history is false. And that measurement of the harlot is democracy, which is false. I don't think that Trump should do a debate at this point. There's nothing to debate. There is no candidate. And so we go to the polls. What? To vote. That's right. Trump already flies inside of the lies. He doesn't need to debate anyone. He doesn't have to fall to Kamala's, we're going to be in a seated position. Why? So you can have a wire up your butt? No. So that Obama can feed it to you? No. It ain't going to happen. Shut it down. Don't play the game. She's a Jezebel. Throw her to the streets and allow those dogs to devour her. And clean up the Secret Service. Good Lord. You cannot trust them at all, or the CIA, or the FBI, or whatever Pentagonish bullshit they want to pull. They did it to you before. Yeah. Let's remind you 4/7/2017, the day that brotherly love was taken from this earth, the day that my best friend, Natalie Green, was taken within a 3-hour notice given of euthanasia in a state that doesn't sanction such a thing. Based on a lie. And then have to contend with such liars, two witnesses of God, two blood brothers from the beginning, as if I couldn't see right through the bright and the morning. The accuser is always going to be the Antichrist as the vicar, as the replacement of, because you're confused as to what it means as that dragon. And we should honor him and give him a crown. Yeah. Doesn't it seem that way? That there would be a mighty headwind upon that first beast, the flat-footed one, the one that walks like a bear, the one that has the skin as a leopard. Yeah, the one that disappears in crowds because people don't notice how small he is. And the mouth speaking blasphemy. Yeah. Well, the second head could just tell people to worship you. Yeah. What, is some old man that left a lot of money behind? I don't look for that sort of thing. I've never been someone that's been prone for that sort of thing. I've never ever reached for that sort of thing. So You accuse the wrong person. They accuse the wrong person. They accuse the lesser of all men. And it just isn't true. To have my family fall through, same thing. Same thing. Coming through that whole Libra episode. Although I think John's a Virgo, James is a Libra, not a Scorpio. If he is a Scorpio, he's acting out in the wrong capacity. That's right, he is. James is a Scorpio. John's supposed to be what? Libra? Cuspid? Cuspid? 25th? It's close enough. He could be Virgo, but I think it's Libra. Like my brother. I should have seen it from the beginning. Yeah, to be put in harm's way, and people who are in such a capacity to harm others. It's just a sickness. It really is, and it carries through their whole life. So the abuses are surrounding them everywhere. Yeah, always. At least I left with my nose intact because that's what he was threatening. He was going to punch my face. Same as my brother was going to punch my face. Obviously, Libra needs to punch someone's face. Yeah, someone needs to be punched in the face for even believing in cremation. What a horrible, despicable thing. And I tell you, deport. Don't abort. No, because I want to come back. And I know that the risk of being born in the womb any time from now forward is probably the most risk taking that anyone ever could ever achieve based on what's going on in the womb. Yeah, the nightmares, things. It's horrible. So I don't mean to be such a negative person. That's just how the expression was today, even though it is good news to find out that I do qualify for my SSI as my SSI. It ain't your SSI I'm taking. I'm not touching your SSI. And that I am approved. And that this short amount of time that I do receive it, that it'll be used beneficially through me. And then from here, snap. And then if possibility, then maybe my own place instead of going to a long-term care facility. Because obviously a caretaker, caregiver situation, they would want to do hospice in-house. That's the whole idea. Not in a facility. And it just can't happen considering it, whatever. I mean, I've taken witness. Yeah, yeah, I participated for 3 years. For 3 years, I was a nurse's aide. Yeah, starting in 1987, 88, 89, and I did the night shift for, I guess I did the day shift for a year. Then I went to the night shift, and then I went to the day shift again, and that's when I quit. I stopped, and it was a acute subacute. So on both ends, where some people were just in there for an infection, but most times the patients was they came in to die. They were at the end of their life, and so uh, I got to experience that. I got to see it firsthand, and it's probably the hardest work I ever did in my life. But it was me catching Jeff, in the middle of the night, going home and catching him, that I packed my bags and went to Houston, and didn't want to ever come back. And the spirit struck me down in Houston, and I got stupid, and my mother was convincing, and so I came back here. Only to face the same thing. It is facing the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah. So what it means, as I run away from it and wants to chase me down, is to face it and end it once and for all. Certainly. Yeah. If I believe in the truth. So then I can shake the dust off my feet and leave this place once and for all. I was never meant to be in the desert Southwest. I wasn't born here. No, I was brought here as a child. I had no choice. My parents made that choice, taking me away from my cousins and my aunts and my uncles, and that which should have been my own inheritance, family, and isolating me with uh, a family that was being taught how to tear each other apart. Yeah, to find a scapegoat so that they don't get the punishment, because that's how it works amongst animals. And the trees, they just get cut down, don't they? Always. The family trees, they just get cut down. And that's what happened. That's sad. So, I should keep an acorn in my pocket. Yeah, sure. My work is never done. Although I'm very disappointed with the outside world. Although if this wasn't my property, this is probably how I would expect it to look. Dry and unwatered and everything dead. But the debris amount this is what I normally see at the end of the year that I mulch, and it's all dead. It's all dead. And it's only August. Yeah. My little apple trees are dead too. Everything died. Yeah, because no one could be there for me when I couldn't walk. And yeah, now I can walk. And tomorrow, it's going to happen. Well, that's how it works. But I don't want to lose my consciousness, my my capabilities to think. I don't want radiation of the brain. No, I don't want to lose cognitive function. I've come this far to learn so much that I can still write it out, that I can still offer onto other sides the truth. When I speak about the beast, the false prophet, and the dragon, when I speak about religion collectively as the many, when we speak about Jerusalem and knowing who we are spiritually, and to know why we're here spiritually, and how the construct is but the lie. Its consequences. And it's through choices, isn't it? Because it was always just a choice, never free will. No, it's by the will of God that the beast be given its power. That's the scroll. Yeah, there's so much more that I could delve into if I would just read beyond the seals. But I'm not prepared yet. No, because I don't want to manifest on it. No, I don't. When the beast overcomes the two witnesses. Yeah. No, those two that I'm talking about, the Flood brothers are false presentations. Yeah, if anything but a tool to teach. To teach whom? Me, in symbology, and for the act itself, which was horrible, that I'm not vindictive. I would never cause harm. I would never start honking outside of someone else's house at 3 o'clock in the morning, only to agitate them every morning. And to do so until I finally contacted Beverly, their mother, who was my age, and asked her to please talk to her sons. That's a shame. She had to go to the grave with that. That her 2 boys were thugs, picking on some poor man that she just had over for dinner. Yeah, she did. She was so kind, so gracious of a guest. Yeah, John wouldn't sit with us to eat. He didn't do that sort of thing. No, he's an antichrist. Don't sue me, but it's true. Your words. Of course they are. Liar. Pants on fire. Is that what I went through this week? Pants on fire? Yeah, only to discover that there's nothing wrong with there's no urinary tract infection. Of course not. That neurologically it's firing off and having a bad day. Bad day. Yeah. Well, consider it on me. Why not? Most people do. So I do look forward to the number 9. I love the number 9. I'm a number 9 soul. So 9 has to do with caregiver, caretaker, caregiver, caretaker. See, so this has to do with Jeffrey, doesn't it? It has to do with the person that has to act in that capacity, but it's spiritual. So it has to do with one side to the other. So we know that the right hand gives, the left hand receives. Left hand is the pass. The left hand is always receiving. That's what's receiving. So we have a caretaker, like we do a mortuary, caretaker, to the caregiver who is giving the care. That's what I need. Yeah, Jeffrey's left-handed. I tried to get him to fill my water in my air conditioner here, and he was so I had to walk around the whole thing to get to it. And I said, no, no, just reach behind there and pour the water in with your right hand. It's on the right hand side, it's right there. Just pour it in. You don't even have to step over the machine, just look over and just go like that. There's a big spout there. Opening. Left-handed. He was all twisted over. He couldn't do it. So I'm on the wrong side of the room for his air conditioner. I don't know. It's difficult, right hand, left hand, to watch that sort of thing. Because it's like, oh my God. You know? I try not to pay attention. Yeah. Barack Obama is left-handed. What else does he do with his left hand? One would wonder, as a Muslim, you would know these things. Yeah, a false prophet, he would probably not care. Don't shake his hand. Yeah, don't shake his hand. And don't sit on his teleprompter, Harry ass. Harris. She's changing the conditional factors of the debate. That's what I'm talking about. So I was listening to Megyn Kelly, and I was like, whoa. So now they're going to rewrite what they want for everybody else in the future. What can be, and they want notes, and they want to be able to yeah, press pause at any minute as they're listening to their reciting preacher teacher in their ear. We've been through this before because that's what they've done. Yeah, I remember Biden in one of his older debates, way back when. He wore an earpiece. Totally. So anyways, Trump should say no. Trump should say no. No. Let let JD Vance go and talk to the dumbasses. He knows he's on them. But to even consider the debate, no, not at all. And it's so that I'll do your platform if you'll do mine. They won't. So don't placate to terrorists. We need to stop the bullshit with the terrorist bullshit. We deport, we don't abort. Yeah. Well, not doing a debate doesn't mean you've aborted. No, you're preventing them from aborting it. Yeah, with their whatever twisted ways that they want to make it look. Don't do it. Don't play the game. It's ridiculous. Communism slash socialism slash uh, our democracy has to come to an end. Yeah, and it is the enemy within. The enemy, the name, democracy. Can you not see the demon in the democracy? Good Lord. Good Lord. The Democrat. Yep. And who's trying to ride on the ass? Good Lord. Yeah. Makes you wonder. Does make you wonder. So, anyways, they say as long as you're paying your taxes, or we'll come and strip you of all your assets. Okay. So, of course, I had to swear on perjury today, that I'm not perjuring myself or anything like that, for anything I have to say is true. And it is. I told her the truth. I told her that both Jeff and I were kicked out of the military for being homosexual. That's no basis for a relationship. It's a basis for a friendship. And considering the world, we never updated our status, our DD Form 214. Why should we update that? Why should we be why should we be ashamed of who we truly are when you asked us a question and I told you the truth, and the truth shall set you free? And it does. It always has. Even if it hurts, the truth can sometimes hurt. So we say the truth and it hurts someone's feelings, and I feel bad for hurting someone's feelings for telling them the truth, that the Christ is the dragon. But it's a good thing, because he's bound by his own word. He's bound in chains for 1,000 years. By his own word, he will not break it. He coveted everything of the world. He coveted you. The devil coveted you. The devil coveted everything there is. Honor him. Allow him to take care of it. Allow him to polish it up. Allow him to fix the internal body of this nation. Yeah, because it's going to come out strong for 1,000 years. What country out there can say that? Israel? Good Lord. Yeah, you have to put your dancing shoes on that little tiny dancer. Yeah, make sense of it. Make sense of why Mercury is involved. This sidestepping bullshit is for Cancer, but this back and forth business, this ankle business with the retrogrades and what's going on over there, could not believe it, that they're going to lose. They've already lost 500,000 people immediately, grabbed their passports and got the friggin' hell out of there to their prospective countries they belong to. And they're expected about 2 million within the next 2 months. So within the next 2 months, they're expecting over 2 million Israelis to flee Israel to other prospective countries, depending on their passport. Yeah, dual citizen sort of thing. Yeah. And that's why they're forcing the Orthodox into their selective services, because they need at least 100,000 war troops for what's to come. It's a machine. It needs to be fed. Anyways, violence is the black horseman, not famine. That measurement of balanced scale of goods and services, that has to do with truth, because it has to do with everybody, everyday life. But they're told not to hurt the oil or the wine, the anointed or the elect. So we know it's violence. Okay. So is Netanyahu the rider upon the black horse? Is that what it is? Which is what? Hamas? Is it ISIS all over again? The black flag? The crisis in the White House as ISIS, which is funded? So it always has to do with money, doesn't it? And it's amazing how a great king can step right in and pull the plug on that money. Suddenly ISIS is gone. The Taliban doesn't exist. But the moment that some false prophet steps in, plugs that money machine back in, everybody's got weaponry and guns. Oh, we'll just leave them behind. Well, no, we're calling Afghanistan and we're pulling it back out. We're coming for it, our property. That's how it works. Because we're going to cut off the hand of the false prophet. The false prophet goes into perdition. He goes into peace, which they're already in. Yeah, Islam. And they're thrown into the bottomless pit. Yeah, well, the pit was always in the fruit. So it's by the fruits of their own labor that they find themselves in through peace. Really. And the beast is but a remnant kept. And they're here. They're not there. They're here. Sure. 12,000 of each of the 12 tribes. And the dragon is here to restore for all that he covets. And it's a glorious thing. The harlot is democracy. She gets cast down. Babylon has fallen. Yeah. And all the merchants of hers will cry. Because she's no more for them. No. She's the one that sends you to war for her freedom. She never expected to give you freedom. No. But through the kingdom. And it's the kingdom of Judah. Because Judah is given that seat that all others will obey and learn to have a beautiful relationship with the Creator. So that we're nurturing nature. We're nurturing life. For the child, for the womb, for the future, for every given face is the face of God. Truly. They will turn those weapons to plowshares. But we return to our root. Everybody returns to the root. Because all this is going to play out again in 1,000 years. upon the first resurrection. This is not the first resurrection. No, this is the harvest supper of the Lamb. This is the hardest part that we're going to take. Yeah, they can say it's like spam, but it's actually the big slam. Yeah, that's how it works. The living word is alive. It's within all things. And it wants to reveal the truth, whether it be the past, the present, or the future. And the measurement of all of my recyclement of my own experiences to have to face such people over and over and over and over again was only so that I could recognize what it was saying and what the story was all along. It's bright in the morning star. And that of a statue that's worshipped, that of immortality, that which is going to be struck in the foot by a millstone, that which is in two parts, so that the two can come together again, and so that the whole body can fill with light once more. A great cleansing. Yeah. He says to give him gold refined and silver refined in fire. And that's what we should do. It's your truth, whether it be that of understanding or that of wisdom, that of the mother, that of the father, to honor one to the other, to know where it's residing within us, to be able to access it. It's a glorious thing. And it is a glorious thing. And I try to teach people about these things, but they're not prepared because the esoteric program has been in place for a long, long time. The keys have been switched for a very, very long time. And it's in consciousness that you have to want to, you have to want to change. You have to want to break free from those chains and those things that bind you in secular events or whatever you may perceive. And when you finally walk through that door and you can grasp it, you see that it doesn't have an effect on you anymore. And you realize that there was no reason for grieving or mourning. No. So the number 9, it's emotions. Emotions. So there's nothing wrong with a little bit of emotions. So probably the physical nature of the 8 was a little hard on me. It's like labor. Um, it is like labor. If you think about it, and especially as the child turns. And but being a businessman's number, entre, it would be that which has to do with career, but on the greater level. So the ownership of such a thing, and being in charge of other people's careers, that sort of thing. You would make a sacrifice of those employees that aren't working for you, and then waste your own time trying to get it all done. That's a good manager, good owner. And the politician should be the same way. So it's been very difficult on a physical level for me. So next month is the emotional level. So next month's about boohooing and bawling and getting a wreath on the door, right? Yeah, send out my Christmas cards early. I don't have very many stamps. Oh, that's something I've wanted to do too. I have to put that in my mind. I should start trying to make notes because I will start forgetting things if I can go back to them. But one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to send my friend in the UK something in return for the seeds that she sent me. She sent me snapdragons, and it's okay that I'm still sitting on them, which because I'm glad if they weren't out there already, that would devastate me. And they would be better for the spring anyways. Get them growing through the winter to the spring. More supportive. That's how I grow mine. So that would be nice. And then I can have snappies on my grave. But the number 9 month, now it's coupled with the 8, which makes the 8 again. So it's a control of emotions. So it's an emotional control on the day. Um, and so the 8 places itself each day, adding unto it. Um, the first being a 9. So the 9 wants to present itself again for at least the introduction of the month of emotions, which I think of emotions as in the heart, but you know that the emotions has to do with your nervous system, which is what I'm being affected by. Yeah, yeah, and neurological, of course. So I might grow horns. I might grow horns. 7 horns, as a matter of fact, to go along with my 7 eyes. That might be nice. Yeah, that might be nice. And then we'll get to that thief uh, that is offered up on the 10th month, the pirate with the natural one. Yeah, and sometimes they can be Scorpios, can't they? Yeah, the thief can be a Scorpio. You might know one with a 0, one with a 0, with a patch over one eye. The pirate is a thief, as the joker as it would be the mocker and the scoffer, if they don't believe in the story and they think it's all a joke. So they like to poke. Yeah, because they got stinger tails, but it's not the same, is it? It's not the same kind of Scorpio. Not at all. No, there are eagle Scorpios, and then there are lizard Scorpios. And if the lizard tries to use his tail, it gets broken off so that he can escape. Yeah. Where the phoenix or eagle is the one that has the stinger over his head, which is as a flame. It's actually his tail. Just looks like a flame on his head when you're looking at it. But it's his tail. Most people don't know that. When you look at um, the Baphomet is the Mindy's goat, uh, which is not male or female. And between the horns is a flame. Looks like a crown flame on the Baphomet's head. But they don't realize that that's not how they're seeing it. If they were to be able to walk around, they would notice that it's his tail coming up around, sitting just before his forehead, just like a scorpion tail. Yeah, causing grievous wounds, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So the Baphomet, in much the way that we would understand the locust of Revelation, yeah, and they would have faces as men, hair as women, a breastplate of iron, um, stinging tail as a scorpion. Yeah, what else attributes do they have? Teeth as a lion. Yeah, so there's all kinds of attributes they have. Yeah, I remember when my teeth were like a lion. When they were so sharp, they were cutting the inside of my mouth. Yeah, I'm glad those days are over. Yeah, I'm glad that I acted. when I did save my own life, because there was no one else there to help me. You know, and it was purely environmental. Everything's been environmental. And so I truly believe that the environment has to change in order for the conditional factor to change. And I would like to see that happen too. Wouldn't that be nice? Sure. So I guess I talked a long time. I've shared enough, right? I can load it, have fun, and then push back my other videos, which have more information than you'd ever want to hear. That's okay. It's all available. They're not prepared for it. No, they aren't. They're prepared to keep with the construct. They're prepared to keep with the narrative. They're prepared to keep acting as if there's a real election going on, when in fact we're looking at a non-candidate situation. Yeah, nominate her, and it doesn't make any difference because if she can't uphold to the end of uh, her ability to run for election and utilize those funds given to her to run and not cheat, but they're already cheating. They want to cheat. Well, just say no. Just say no. Let the population decide. Yeah. And already they're cheating. And they are. You know they are. And that eight is perdition, isn't it? And so that which was six, that is of the seven, and has become the eight, is this candidacy. Yeah. Based on this year. Next year, we enter a number nine. And for the entire year, we're going to have emotions. Hmm. Plenty of emotions. Every month, a new set of emotions. Because the nine is the spirit as it is the breath, as it is that which is set apart. And it's the speak. Yeah, it is. The emotion is the speak. It can move mountains. I believe that. So take care and God bless you. Talk to you soon. This is Ron signing off. Bye.